Hello YouTube, welcome to my video. Today we're going to be talking about my spoiler review of episode 1 from Marvel Zombies. In this video I'm going to be talking about, just all the different sequences of events that happen throughout the entire episode, and then tomorrow I might upload episode number 2, and you're probably not going to expect, what I'm going to have to say about this episode. Let's just say that. What I want to talk about first is the first, opening scene. So the episode starts out, like they're walking in the empty city, and there's really no zombies there. I mean, it was a good opening, but I wouldn't say it's the best one. And then, the first group is pretty good, like Kate Bishop, who's Riri or Ironheart, and then, Friday, and then obviously Kamala Khan, who's the main, the main person of this entire show pretty much. It kind of revolves around her. I would say she's the main character. The group's not bad, but it's also not the best. I personally don't like Ironheart, not because she's kind of new, it's just I never found interest in the show, so I never found interest in the character. And Kate Bishop, again, I never watched Hawkeye. I watched some of it, but not all of it. So, I kind of know her character, but at the same time, I didn't really care much for her character as well. Same for Kamala Khan. Honestly, all these characters were irrelevant to me. I never really watched their, shows or anything. So, I kind of have, no experience with these characters, but either way, it was still, I knew the characters. I knew, what their power was, or, what they were good at, and how they fought. So it was okay. Oh, and not to mention Friday. That was, oh my gosh, I love Friday. I'm glad that they included that. Maybe not the teddy bear, but the Iron Man suit, how it's so clean and perfect. It may have a couple scratches, I can't remember, because it was a while ago when I watched it a couple days ago, and I was so happy to find out that Hawkeye was the first kind of real zombie hero that we got in the show. He actually played a pretty big part in that, opening scene, and I'm glad he was the character to do it, not some other Avenger or some half-decent character. We actually got a good character like Hawkeye. Whenever they found the, Queen Jet that crashed, and, Kamala Khan dug her hands in the zombie, whatever, kind of disgusting, but not really, and then got the little thing, I forgot what it was called, but it was the thing to save the world, basically. I just thought it was so mid. It was, it was literally like any other zombie apocalypse story. Oh, this one tiny little gadget that I have to keep right next to me the entire time, that's what's gonna save the world. Yep, every time, and I kind of was disappointed, and not oh, it was her powers or something, that's also overly used, but I would rather be that than some device, because I was already predicting that it was going to get destroyed at the very last second that they can save the world. Obviously that didn't happen, but I was already predicting it. It was kind of predictable, and I didn't really care for it. Whenever they got back to their base or whatever, I guess it was just a house. It looked like just a house, and then kind of fortified a little, not really walls or anything. They set sail to Ohio in their wagon, whatever. I didn't really care for it. It was cool, but again, not much connection to it. We only had it for a couple minutes of screen time, and then it was gone. So it wasn't an iconic vehicle of any sort. It was just a car with upgrades. Whenever they found Captain Marvel and Icarus, I believe is the name. I've never watched Eternals. I think Icarus is his name. That was extremely awesome, and I was literally pumping my fist in the air as that fight scene came up. I couldn't tell. I think he was zombified, but he had more of consciousness than Captain Marvel. But that was so, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. But the one thing that I did not love is whenever they fought Captain Marvel or whatever, Kate died. It was so unneeded. So unneeded. She was one of my, she was the one who I was most familiar with. I knew Kamala and I knew Ironheart. I just didn't care for him. She was the one who I was most, connected with, and who I knew most. And I was watching it with my parents, and my jaw dropped when she died. Literally, I was like, are we serious? This is how this show is gonna be? I know the comics. Someone told me the other day You know, I know the comics are, you know, there's a zombie comic or whatever where everyone dies and they go to like different universes to feed because they just ran out of people to eat. It baffles me, you know. Her death was very unneeded. Also, you know, Friday and Riri or Ironheart, their death was just also kind of unneeded. Just, oh, you go ahead, save the world by your complete self. No one's around, we don't see anyone, because, you know, obviously when Blade came in, I'm sure they didn't see him. You know, or Friday was like, I don't know if she saw him in the distance or whatever, but, you know, that was kind of stupid. Oh yeah, go save the world by yourself. You don't need us. Well, you do, but, you know, we're gonna go ahead and sacrifice ourselves. It was kind of stupid. I hate when characters do that, but, you know, it's fine. Still, I'm not saying they're bad characters because of that. I'm just saying stupid decisions. But dude, that Blade entrance, oh my god, that thing was peak. That had, I bet, every person who is watching that and is an actual Marvel fan, not just watching it just to watch it, who is a true Marvel fan at heart, I bet everyone was punching their fists in the air saying, yes, 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 yes. You know, we were all happy, I bet, because that was just such an entertaining and exciting moment. Whenever we saw his face, obviously, because, you know, he ran up and grabbed her and we didn't know who it was. But then whenever it showed up, I saw the Moon Knight outfit, I saw Blade. I was like, are we serious? I'm fine with Kate and Riri and Friday dying now. We got Khonshu, Blade. So, or Moon Knight Blade if you want to get technical. I just also thought that was such a great team up, like such a great mashup of two characters. I don't know if that's in a comic or not, but that was such a great, like, they cooked with that, you know, mashup. Like, it was so good. It was unneeded, but it was so good. You know, we didn't even know we needed it. Like, Kamala and, you know, Blade, they kind of had their little moment of how, you know, they're getting to know each other and they're being nice to each other. And they're understanding that, like, we have hope, you know, we are going to save this place. When I tell you, I was so happy to see that Red Guardian, the amazing Red Guardian, was alive in all of this. I literally have his Funko Pop, and it's one of my favorite Funko Pops in my whole collection. He's one of my favorite MCU characters ever, even though he's only been in like 1 or 2 projects, now 3, I'm sure. Let's see, Thunderbolts, and then Black Widow, and then now Marvel Zombies. So 3, only been in 3, and he's already won my heart, and I'm sure he's won a bunch of other people's hearts. I said in the short that I posted, he was one of my favorite characters, and I was sad to see him go, and he does, you know, go in one of the other episodes. But yeah, all the Russian, you know, like heroes and stuff, like Milena, Yelena, and Red Guardian, and all the widows. I don't know why they're still alive. Like, you know, big old group like that. That was such a peak entrance, you know. Just like Blade, that was amazing. The gate opened up and they just were standing there, and the zombie horde in front of them, oh my gosh, that was such a good callback to Black Widow. Whenever, you know, Milena is able to control the pig and makes them stop breathing, it's literally just the same thing. That was just a great entrance for them. And then obviously, you know, whenever the zombies invade the whole place or whatever, the Cap versus Alexei fight was hilarious. It was honestly, you know, it's actually pretty cool to see how, you know, obviously the zombies don't know who they were before. It's cool to see how they adapt, how Cap was sliced in half and he used that, like, he rolled with the shield and he, you know, curled up into a ball. It was just amazing how he adapts to that. You know, all the fights till they, you know, left the facility was amazing. Like Blade versus Ghost, we saw that in the trailer. When I tell you, that was peak right there. I know I've been saying peak a lot, and I've been throwing that word around. I mean, this show deserves it. You know, it's got some, like I said, it's got some peak scenes. You know, Blade versus Ghost, that was awesome fighting, awesome choreography. I know it's animated, but still, it's great. You know, you still got to plan all that out of how to animate it. And then obviously, Milena's sacrifice. She died terribly. Like, you know, Okoye. Great zombie, by the way, great zombie leader, you know. So I forgot to mention that, you know, that was such a great zombie leader. Okoye just threw her spear right through Milena, right through the tablet, and right through her, and then right through the gate, or the giant door. That was terrible. And that about wraps it up for the episode 1 review of Marvel Zombies. I hope you guys enjoyed, and that was pretty much my review, just my opinion. Remember that whenever you go to the comment section, oh, you didn't like this and I did. It's Just my opinion. Just remember that. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Everyone have a great day. Goodbye.